Welcome to episode 8 of Retire Eyes Wide Open. I'm Scot Landborg. On today's episode, joy in retirement. What does it look like, and how do you have real happiness in retirement and really live the good life? We'll tackle it and have some fun too. We'll also review the week's news and the money rundown. We'll talk about the best thing I saw this week. And our Scott Strategy segment and listener questions are about traveling on a budget in retirement and living your best retirement life. This is Retire Eyes Wide Open. Welcome to Retire Eyes Wide Open. Don't go into retirement with your eyes closed. Go into it with your eyes wide open. If your financial advisor and tax advisor aren't talking, someone isn't doing their job. There are two systems in this country, one for the informed and one for the uninformed. You can't turn back the clock. It can only get better for the future. You're going to look back at this moment 20 years from now, and you want to know you did everything you could to position your financial life. The world is changing, and so is retirement. Hi, my name is Scot Landborg, and I'm here to help you retire with your eyes wide open. That means having the information you need and the clarity you deserve. It means understanding and interpreting the world as it changes. It means knowing about investments, taxes, Social Security and estate planning, and how they're all connected. And probably most important, it's about living your best retirement life, the good life. You know, I meet with thousands of retirees. I see people doing it right. I see people doing it wrong. And I'm going to show you how to retire with your eyes wide open.
The strategies and concepts discussed are for educational purposes only and do not represent specific investment, tax, or estate planning advice. Investing carries an inherent element of risk, and it is in everyone's best interest to consult a tax, legal, or investment professional. Scot Landborg is an investment advisor representative of, and advisory services are offered through USA Financial Securities Corp., member FINRA, and SIPC, a registered investment advisor. Sterling Wealth Partners is not affiliated with USA Financial Securities.
And now for the money monologue. Joy in retirement. How do you have the real happiness that you're looking for? I'm going to share with you 10 ways to find joy in retirement. Hint, it's not just about vacations. Hopefully you'll grab some ideas and do something about it. Try something. Try something out of your comfort zone. Take a risk. The happiest retirees I work with, they're active retirees. Here are the 10 ways to find joy in retirement. Number 1, be a food and travel critic. This is one that I joke around with my wife about all the time. How fun would it be to be a food and travel critic? I met someone that actually started doing it. They started reviewing wine, and all of a sudden, they started getting boxes of wine shipped to their house for free. It became a ton of fun, and also a way for them to deduct some of the things that they wanted to do in retirement. Good news is the internet makes it easier than ever to do some of these types of things in retirement. Apps like Yelp, blogs, and other ways for you to actually do this in retirement. Number 2, take an art class. Maybe art wasn't your thing in your working life, but maybe you could turn over a new leaf. Try something out. Try sculpting. Try watercolor. You might be amazed at how much joy it brings you. Number 3, try pickleball. The latest and greatest athletic activity for those between 50 and 80 years old. If you don't know what pickleball is, you need to know. It's like a cross between tennis and a larger ball. I've never played it. I've heard people that do. My own father spends hours and hours every day on the pickleball court. So this one goes out to him. But it's becoming more and more popular of a sport, and there's a wide range of different skill level in the sport. So if you're brand new, you're going to feel comfortable. If you're a veteran, you're going to feel comfortable. It's a lot of fun, a great way to stay active, but not too intense where you're going to get injured. Number 4, hire a personal trainer. I've heard from many retirees how they love working out in retirement. They've wanted to have a certain physical fitness routine when you're working, but you're so busy working and raising kids. This is a great time. Hire a personal trainer, get the body you've always wanted, try some new athletic activities, and really get out there. Number 5, host a dinner party. This is as simple as you inviting people over to your home for dinner, maybe putting together a really cool invitation. Maybe you hire a personal chef. You can find some of these people on Yelp. Hire a really good chef to come into your home, cook a fantastic dinner for maybe 6 or 8 of your closest friends. It's a great, great thing to do. And I think we've gotten away from those home parties, but bring it back. Host a dinner party. Number 6, volunteer. Volunteer for your church, your synagogue, the hurricane relief organization, the veterans group. Volunteer for a group that's a cause you believe in, and you'd be amazed at how much value that you feel. More than just volunteering, there may be other opportunities that come up along the way. Maybe a new social calendar, a new social life, a friend that you met that's doing the same thing. It can really add some real value to retirement and bring you some real joy. Number 7, learn to sail. This one falls under the category of trying something new. So there's classes that can be taken at local universities. There are classes at local yacht clubs about learning to sail. Another cool activity, another way to get out, get outside, get out in the fresh air, and try something and learn something new. Who knows where it takes you? I've got a client of mine who sells sailboats, who sells boats all across the country, and was talking about this amazing thing called the Great Loop, where you go all the way from Florida up north into New England, and you can actually sail down the various rivers all throughout the U.S. Fantastic, fantastic way for you to get out and see the world. And if you learn how to do it, who knows where that might take you. Number 8, be open for business. Just because you're retired doesn't mean that you have to stay retired your entire retirement. I met someone today. They've been retired for 5 years, and they picked up a side job that they did for 7 months, and really brought them a lot of value and a lot of fulfillment. So be open for business. Be open for business opportunities. Maybe you want to do a little side contracting work. This retirement thing is tough. It's challenging. To find your purpose, to find your next act can take some time. And so working a part-time job, being a contractor can help you earn a little extra money, a little extra play money, and also occupy your time and your mental energy to give you a little more focus. So be open for business. That also means be open to starting your own business. Maybe there's a new little business that you want to start and you want to use some of these online tools to give you a shot to do it. Just be open for business and open for business opportunities that might present themselves. Number 9, run for political office. I met someone recently, and they did just that. So they were bored in retirement. They weren't as active as they wanted to be, ended up running for their local city council, and are having the time of their lives. Again, what are some of those things that you can be doing that you didn't have time to do in your working life that you can take the time and do them now? Number 10, take a college class. Look at the university list. Look at the schedule of available classes and take one. Maybe it's philosophy. Maybe it's a history class. Maybe it's a science class. Experiment a little bit. Try some things. Maybe it's a new language that you can use when you're traveling. The list goes on, but give something a shot. Maybe try something out of your comfort zone. Those are my 10 tips for having more joy in retirement. And the bottom line is getting out there and trying something. Trying something to bring you a little extra joy in your retirement. Some of the things that will bring you joy are things that will bring you personal satisfaction. Things that get you out there in the world. They're going to keep you more active. An opportunity to meet other people, meet potential friends in retirement. And finally, finding purpose. Finding that purpose, finding those things that you enjoy to do that also maybe help other people and help the community around you. And that's our money monologue for the week. And now for the Money Rundown. Our Money Rundown segment is where we cover the week's news. There's lots of media sources out there that are going to give you updated information about the economy and the markets. My job is to help summarize and synthesize, help pick out a few stories that are most important for you as a retiree or an investor. Story number 1, former Microsoft founder Paul Allen passed at 65. Owner of the Seattle Seahawks and Portland Trail Blazers and well-known philanthropist, the personal computer might not exist without him, and the world has lost a hero. Our heart goes out to the Allen family, but I also brought up this story. The reason why it's important, I think, is to really highlight entrepreneurs and business owners that make a contribution to the world we live in today. How much attention do we give to entertainers? And this is a man, Paul Allen. Without him, the personal computer doesn't exist. The foundation of our modern economy might not exist. Not only was he philanthropic and is giving the majority of his proceeds from his life's work to charity, but he really made a major contribution in a lot of areas. Story number 2, the federal budget deficit grew as tax cuts take a bite. This from the Wall Street Journal. The U.S. government ran the largest deficit in 6 years, totaling $779 billion, up 17% from $666 billion in 2017. The White House says more aggressive stances may be coming in government spending in the next year. What does that mean for you? Well, I was reading another article this week about how government spending and government debt may be one of the things that help push this economy into recession in the future. So it's something we'll want to keep an eye on next year and the years ahead. I think Trump and his administration have been hoping that lower tax rates, although they help increase the budget deficit in the short term, their hope is that economic growth helps grow the economy at a rate fast enough to overcome some of these budget deficits. I think reality is starting to set in and some difficult choices may have to be made. I think government debt across the world is a concern. It's something to keep an eye on. Hopefully it will not be one of the causes of our next recession. Story number 3, small cap stocks are down 10% from the previous high as the S&P 500 was down 5.6% and the NASDAQ down 7.7%. Rising rates have seemed to impact small cap stocks the most. What does that mean for you? Well, it may be time to reevaluate your allocation. No matter what you have, emerging markets down almost 15% on the year, bonds down over 4% on the year, international down almost 9% on the year. It may be worth reevaluating some of your holdings. Small caps are down more than large caps. It may be time to look at some of your positions, sell some things, and take some new positions. Maybe buy some different stocks that are going to bode better in the future ahead. But definitely take a look at your allocation because we've seen some really unprecedented decoupling where international markets have had a hard time, U.S. markets have had a better time. And for you to be successful in the years ahead, you want to make sure you're in the right sectors of this market. And that's our Money Rundown for the week. And now for the best thing I saw this week. My wife Shannon and I had a little respite from our little ones. My mother was in town and we were able to get away for a few hours. Our latest adventure, a midweek whale watching cruise from Davies Locker in Newport Beach, California. What a great time. What a great little part of the day away from the office. $16 weekly discount, $16 per person for a midweek cruise, about 2 hours long, a great way to get on the water and enjoy this beautiful weather that we've been having. They even have a covered deck so you don't get sunburned. Now, we didn't see any whales, although we've heard of orcas in the area, which made us excited. No whales, lots and lots of dolphins jumping and leaping. It was just a gorgeous day. And the little adventure got me thinking, what types of mini trips can people take in retirement and take advantage of some real savings? This is one of the wonderful things about retirement. You don't have to go whale watching on the weekend. Go during the week when there's discounts and no lines. Also, take a chance to rediscover your city. Don't just focus on the big ticket trips. What are the smaller experiences close to home that can really sweeten your life? How about lunch at Fisherman's in San Clemente, one of our favorite little places? During the week, not so busy. Make sure you eat on the left side of the restaurant, near the rail, near the beach. Great fish right on the beach. What about wine tasting in Temecula? Or maybe a Groupon for a hot air balloon ride or a parasail. Start exploring Yelp a little bit. Try a newly highly rated restaurant in your area, or maybe try a restaurant in a new area that you're not familiar with. Maybe try a restaurant at home like Uber Eats or Grubhub. Try a new restaurant at home. Have them deliver something that you haven't tried before. What about an electric bike ride? Electric bicycles. Some people in the office give me crap about this, but there's a location in Huntington Beach called Pedigo that rents electric bicycles, very affordable, puts a new spin on the bicycle. Now, a lot of you think about bike riding as exercise, right? Well, the electric bike lets you do and see much more than you'd be able to do breaking your back on that bicycle. So with ease, you can ride down all the way to Newport, ride up the Santa Ana Canyon Trail, ride all the way up to Seal Beach. And that's not the only location in Southern California where you can rent electric bikes. San Diego has some great electric bicycle locations as well. There are so many fun little adventures to have in Southern California and fun things to see. Angela Jugan, producer in our office, recently went on a tour of Orange County and Los Angeles where they toured some little-known off-the-beaten-path locations that are just fantastic to visit to make a little trip inside of retirement. go like us on Facebook. Visit our Facebook page. We're going to be posting some cool travel ideas this week for Southern California and some more fun ideas. So go like us on Facebook for more information about strategies for enjoying your retirement right here in SoCal. And that's the best thing I saw this week. Next is our Scott Strategy segment. Earlier in the show, we talked about joy in retirement. And I often talk about vacationing. That's not the only thing to do that will make you happy. It might be the only thing, but it too can sure be a great time and a great part of retirement. So as much crap as I give vacationing, of course it's a fantastic part of retirement and should be an important part of your retirement. We had a travel event recently for some of our clients, and although they loved it, some wanted to know if there were any ideas for doing more of travel on a budget. So here are my top ideas for doing travel on a budget in retirement. Number 1, travel during the shoulder season. For the different areas that you think you may want to travel, each of them has a peak season and an off-peak season. And the difference, and in between those times, is called the shoulder season. Often a great time to get good deals. Often the weather is still fantastic. Often the lines are shorter. The number of people there is less. It's still a place that you want to go from a seasonal standpoint, but you can often get fantastic discounts. Number 2, travel last minute for deals. Being a retiree, you're not on a schedule. You're not on a calendar. If you want to go on a 14-day cruise next week, you probably could make it happen. People that are working are not able to do that. So there are organizations, there are groups, there are websites that promote to retirees for last-minute deals. One of my favorites is a website called vacationstogo.com. Vacationstogo.com. They have their 90-day ticker with a lot of last-minute cruise deals. If you're a working stiff like me and everybody in our office, we see those deals and it makes us go crazy because we can't take advantage of them. But if you're retired, you can take advantage of as many as you'd like. And because you're able to travel more last minute, you're able to get some of those fantastic deals. Number 3, use reward points effectively and efficiently. Well, what do I mean by that? Well, if you're going to go on a last-minute trip, using travel reward points to book airline tickets often is one of your best options. You may want to book a last-minute cruise, but the flight's going to kill you because the flight last minute is more expensive. This is a great way for you to use points, different points to buy airline tickets to help get you to a last-minute destination so you don't get stuck with a high, expensive plane ticket for your less expensive trip. 4, go where the deals take you. My best man in my wedding, this is his famous line, go where the deals take you. So here's an interesting trick. When you're looking for ideas on where to travel, don't necessarily have the destination settled on. Maybe there's a number of destinations you're interested in. And when you're looking for last minute travel or you're looking for discounted travel, go where the deals take you. There are certain areas that may be on sale, certain destinations that may be discounted. Maybe you go to Argentina because the currency has been devalued significantly over the past year. Who knows where you may go, but go where the deals take you. Maybe a 5-star hotel chain on Maui is offering a super great deal. Be open to adapting your travel itinerary to where the deals take you. Number 5, consider the double vacation. Being retired, you don't have to come back for a job on Monday, right? So if your vacation's 7 days or 14 days, that's up to you. Consider the double vacation. One of my favorites is partnering a cruise vacation with a land vacation. So for example, say you want to go to Italy, partner that with a cruise leaving out of Rome or Venice. So spend 7 days on a cruise ship touring the Mediterranean, and then spend 7 days on land in the port that you were arriving at or leaving. It's a great way to save money on airline tickets to get to the destination or to get home, and you can often get a fantastic deal. Number 6, book far in advance. For cruises especially, this is true. You either want to book last minute for the best deal or book far in advance. My wife and I were looking at cruises to Alaska recently. And if you wanted to go the year we were looking, it was 50 to 75% more expensive than if we were willing to wait a year till the next season. So cruising, some of the best deals can be far in advance, a year, year and a half, 2 years out. The other great thing about that is it gives you time to build other people to add to your vacation plans. Maybe you have other friends or family that would like to vacation with you. And by planning far enough in advance, not only can you get a fantastic discount and deal, but you can get other people to join in the party. Number 7, consider the all-in costs of your travel. This is a very important thing. When you're thinking about travel, be careful about deals because you have to really think about what are the all-in costs. Is a beverage package included? What's your food and alcohol going to cost? Is it more expensive to travel there via flights? Cruising, for example, if you're going to go on a cruise in the Caribbean, much less expensive for the shore excursions than it is in Europe. You're going to spend a lot more money doing shore excursions if you're taking a cruise in Europe. So make sure you consider the all-in costs of your travel. Sometimes booking an all-inclusive location, sometimes booking an all-inclusive trip can save you money. Sometimes not. Sometimes you're better off, instead of going to an all-inclusive, picking some of the local restaurants. But make sure you really consider the all-in cost of your travel. Number 8, be a group leader for more discounts. A lot of times if you are booking a cruise or booking through a travel agency or booking a tour, if you are the group leader and you get multiple people to join in on your vacation, often you as the group leader can get some significant discounts on your travel. So by being that organizer, by being that cheerleader, by bringing these people together, it's another way you can save money on your vacation. Now, some of the people traveling with you may want you to pass out some of those discounts to them. That's between you and them, but there definitely are discounts by you being the group leader. And you know what I say? Keep the discounts yourself because organizing a trip, it is a lot of work. Those are my top 8 tips for doing travel on a budget. Hope you found it helpful. Again, go to our website, retireewo.com, for more travel ideas as we talk socially about the coolest, latest, and greatest travel tips for 2019. And now for our listener questions. If you want some of your questions answered during the show, go to our website, retireewo.com, and click on Submit a Question. We'll do our best to get your question answered during the show. Joining us today is our producer, Angela Jugan, who has some questions from our listeners. Angela, take it away.
Thanks so much, Scott, and hi, guys. Our first question comes from Carrie in Huntington Beach, California. Hi, Scott. Retirement has been an adjustment for me. I'm missing my old job a bit and not sure how to maximize my time in retirement. I'm considering getting some part-time work. Any negatives by me doing that?
Well, Carrie, thank you so much for your question. And I'm sorry that it's been an adjustment for you. You know, some people, it's a very easy adjustment. Other people, it is a lot more challenging. Are there any negatives for you going back to work part-time? Absolutely not. You want to look if you are over full retirement age, there are absolutely no negatives. If you're under full retirement age, you might want to be aware how it might impact your Social Security. If you're taking Social Security and you're, say, 64, you could have some penalties there. So be aware of that. But I would say, don't let the tax tail wag the investment dog. If you want to get some part-time work, just make it happen. And you can figure out from an investment and tax perspective how to adapt your plan to adjust to it. But the most important thing is this retirement stage of your life, you can succeed at it, you can fail at it, and you can just get by. And we want to do everything that we can to make sure you succeed at this stage of your life. Getting a part-time job or doing some part-time consulting could really energize you and give you a chance to kind of restart this phase and allow you to move into retirement or be in retirement, ease into a little bit more. Some of the happiest people I see in retirement are active. They're doing things, but they also have some sort of purpose. Maybe they're volunteering at their local church or their local parish. Maybe they are doing a part-time business on the side. getting a part-time job in retirement, don't have any issues at all. I think, Carrie, it might be a very good step for you as you try to find that fulfillment and that purpose that you're looking for and that you're missing from your old job. Another thing that people are missing too is their social circle. Not only is it their purpose from work, but it's also the social circle. So volunteering, getting out there in the community, different things that you can do to kind of build up that social circle, and having a part-time job or working as a contractor part-time helps you build those new connections.
Our next question comes from Andrew in Tustin, California. I'm considering moving out of California to lower my cost of living, but I'm weighing the cost of being away from my kids and grandkids. Any advice?
Well, Andrew, thank you so much. It's a difficult question to answer. Honestly, it's easier than ever for people to move out of state. The internet, technology, low-cost airline tickets make it easier than ever for you to live in another state and still feel connected to your family back home. So that's the good news. The bad news is there are some things that you're going to miss, and you need to make sure that you're okay with that. If your finances are tight, you might not have a choice. You may have to do it. If you've got a mortgage in retirement, you need to get rid of it, and your means are not very significant, you may be forced into that decision and making the most of it. I would encourage you, there are other options in Southern California. You could look at a reverse mortgage. You could look at living in a lower cost community. You could look at living more inland, or maybe in Carlsbad, or maybe in an over 55 community. There are other ways to make your income picture work that don't necessarily mean you moving out of state. If your finances are good, you may still want to move out of state to save the money. And I would understand why someone would want to do that. This is an expensive state to live in from an income tax perspective, from a property tax perspective. It's expensive on a number of levels. So understand where you're coming from. But also understand that sometimes by moving and by saving that extra money, all you're doing is you're adding money to your net worth. You're going to leave an extra $500,000 to your kids or grandkids at the end. Why? Is that really what you want to do? If moving out of state, if you feel like moving out of state is going to bring you more of the life that you want in retirement, then don't hesitate. Do it. But if you're moving out of state because you haven't embraced the fact that retirement is a different stage and you're going to have to rebuild your social life, your personal life, your value, your purpose. Understand that that's going to be hard. That's going to be difficult. Don't run away from that. Don't run away from that. As long as you're not running from that, then moving out of state is not an issue at all. And understand that you may be missing out some things with your family. You might be missing some of those moments with kids and grandkids. And what is that worth to you? How much is that worth from a financial perspective? If it means less money to the kids and grandkids at the end of the day because you stayed in California, I can promise you they're not going to worry about that. But again, I think your kids and grandkids, if you think that your retirement is best out of state, you're going to find the fulfillment that you want. You're going to live the life that you want, then I can promise you your kids and grandkids are going to be behind you. And there's ways with technology and there's ways with low-cost airline travel that you can still be connected with them. Hopefully that helps.
And our final question is from Kevin in Yorba Linda, California. How do I plan a travel budget in retirement? This seems like an impossible thing to do, not knowing where to go with my wife and not knowing the potential itineraries. Any tips on budgeting for travel in retirement?
Well, Kevin, you hit the nail right on the head. This is not an easy thing to do. What I would encourage you to do is try your best to set aside a budget for the next 12 months. And then do it for the next 12 months after that and the next 12 months after that. You don't necessarily have to stick to that budget exactly. You have some flexibility, but it's important that your financial advisor and tax advisor are on the same page. If your travel budget for the next year is $10,000, then there's a certain things that you may want to do to withdraw money from various accounts to come up with the cash. If your travel budget explodes to $50,000, now we have a totally different situation. Maybe that bumps you in a higher tax bracket. Maybe you want to spread that over 2 years instead of 1. I think the most important thing is to continue to evaluate your plan. Do it a couple times a year. Continue to evaluate your spending needs, where you can pull from and when. And also understand something else, Kevin. If you have big fat retirement accounts, you're going to be forced to pull from those once you reach 70 and a half. You may want to pull from those a little bit early. Spread out that withdrawal rate from the moment you retire until the moment you turn 70, because once you turn 70, you're going to have less options. You need to start thinking about your retirement income picture as the big picture. How are you pulling money out over the next 10, 20, 30 years? Where's it going to come from and when? How are RMDs going to impact your situation? How are taxes going to impact your situation? And have a plan that's flexible enough to give you that travel budget for when you need it. You don't know how much you're going to travel this year, next year, the year after necessarily, but something else may come along the line that you're going to need more money. And so you need to make sure you have enough liquidity in your plan to adjust for the reality on the ground. That's the end of our listener questions for the week. Angela, thanks so much for joining us. Again, if you want your questions answered during the show, go to our website, retireewo.com, and click on the button, Ask a Question. You can also follow us on Facebook, subscribe to our podcast on iTunes. I want to thank all of you so much for listening. Stay tuned next week as I continue to discuss how to retire with your eyes wide open. Don't go into retirement with your eyes closed. Retire with your eyes wide open. I'm Scot Landborg, and we'll see you next week.